What does God care about most, you know? What does God care about? Like, do you have a relationship with God where you can just go to Him, go serve, and it's not a burden, it's not like, it's just, you just do it out of love, you love God. I guess keep living like a godly life, or, you know? But sometimes we're the ones that are like, go like the opposite way, like, it's not about being religious, it's not about, just judging other people too. I started reading my Bible, I started praying more, and I started trying to develop more of that relationship with God and what it's not about, like church or what I do, what I serve. I start growing like just in the Bible too. Like my knowledge starts growing because I'm learning more things. I'm doing more research on more things.
Yeah.
Like it's the Book of Enoch. I didn't even know it existed until I did my research on the Bible, who wrote it, and just what is there, that I don't know yet. So I think it just depends how deep you're willing to go in there.
Yeah.
So we have certain responsibility
Yeah.
to a certain extent.
I think all of us, I think the information is out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I think part of God's character is that He likes to leave mystery,
Mm.
and He wants us to kind of dig in and kind of get to know Him.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, I think we need to prioritize like the main points of the Bible, right? The main points, which is like the whole purpose of why God came to earth, right? The whole point of why humanity was created.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think you find that in the Garden of Eden.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But for me, it's always been interesting how.
Yeah, it's for sure interesting. So many things like that. So many like stories
It gets
and
you
events.
thinking.
It gets you thinking.
Yeah.
Do you believe in aliens?
I mean, I do.
Really?
I do believe in aliens.
I know some people think that aliens are like demons, and
Uh-huh.
what do you think of that? Like, what's your take on that?
I'm not sure if they're demons,
Yeah.
but I do know that aliens have to exist, right?
Yeah.
And I think going back, for sure there has to be other creations. Because I don't think God created this entire universe just for Earth to be here, right? There's like so many galaxies, so many universes. And I think, the Bible talks about it, that when we go to heaven, that He's going to make us kings over other like creations, right?
Yeah, creations.
So I do believe that there's other worlds, other creations. If they're human, I don't think they're like human like us.
Yeah.
But for sure, they were created by God. And not necessarily, I don't think necessarily all of them are like say evil or stuff. I think there's just other worlds and creations. And going back to aliens here, what we see, it's crazy. I don't know. Some people say like they are here on Earth. Like some believe that they don't come from outer space. That they're actually within us, right?
Yeah.
And some people believe that they work hand in hand with like government. But who knows, right? But it's just different theories.
That'd be crazy. Just figuring out like they actually work hand in hand. I mean, have you seen that like those people in Mexico? They brought out like some aliens and stuff like. They look goofy though, bro. Like, there you go.
I saw this post. They were saying it's a cake, and like they cut the plate and it's like a cake inside. But who knows?
Imagine, dude. Nah.
For sure, I do believe there's way more than what we know.
Yeah.
Like there's for sure like.
Yeah.
But I think all of that, like you said, it's information that's being hidden from us, and an honest question would be like, should we really care to learn more about it?
Yeah.
Is it really something that we should care much about, or is it something that is just like for fun?
Yeah.
To think about, right?
Yeah.
But for sure, the Book of Enoch.
Yeah, dude.
Have fun with it.
I know. I got to. And then there's other books too that I don't even know.
Yeah. I think just like the book of, I don't know if it's Jasper, just like a certain book that the Bible mentions, or like the book of the history of the kings of Israel. Like there's so many different books that are referenced in the Bible.
Yeah.
But we just they're not canon to the Bible, which is I guess like secondary books, and they would call them.
Yeah.
But yeah, well.
Man. The Catholics took it off.
The what?
Right? The Catholics. That's what
I studied it. I can't remember if it was the Catholics, but it was during the time they were making the canon, right? That's why in Catholic Bibles, like even Catholic Bibles are different from our Bibles.
Yeah.
You have the Book of Wisdom.
Yeah.
The Book of the Maccabees.
Yeah.
The Book of I think like Second Daniel. You have like a lot of different books that during that time of the canon and stuff were like taken away, and some were like kept. But I think just like you said, the main focus is
what we believe in.
We believe Jesus Christ, and I think if we're able to shift our focus to that, I think that's what God really wants. And then once we pass from this earth, I think a lot of questions will be answered.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I
We're
think,
like, what? You're gonna figure out if aliens are real or not.
all right, but
Dude, imagine.
yeah, well, talk to me a little bit about you. I mean, what's your background from Christ, like
Background from Christ?
Mhm.
Well, I was born in a Christian home.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a Christian family. And ever since I was little, I was going to church.
Uh-huh.
Church every Sunday. We would go 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes 4.
4, 5,
Sometimes every day a week.
every day. There came a point where I was going to church Monday nights
Yeah.
for the youth band rehearsal,
Yeah.
Tuesday nights for the prayer,
Yeah.
Wednesday nights for the general group band rehearsal.
Yeah.
Thursday nights were my only day off. That's why I think to this day, like Thursdays are like one of my favorite days. I think it's my favorite day of the week. Just because Thursday has always, it's always been the day where I just do whatever I want, right?
Yeah.
Friday nights was our service.
Yeah.
Saturday nights our service. Sunday mornings youth service, and Sunday nights general service. So going back and thinking about it, I was like there like for so many years, almost every single day.
Imagine, wow, dude, that's crazy. I mean,
similar.
yeah, it's kind of similar situation too. I was there. I mean, okay, so I was born in a Christian family. You know, we were raised to go to church every single day. Not every single day, but it just, like it was just at church. Like kind of was like if you're Christian, you go to church. Church kind of saves your problems. Church. Church is kind of everything. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I really never really had like a close relationship with God, or I just really never had a relationship with God until I want to say like a year or two ago, a year and a half ago. I really like started paying attention, and started like seeing, what, it's not about like church or what I do, what I serve, because I'm also a musician. I could play. I'm kind of like Alex too. Like, I could play anything. Like except for he got that talent. Yeah, he can play. Well, he can play everything. I just can't play trumpet. Trumpet, or I tried it.
I mean, I guess when it comes to like the instruments we grew up with, right? When you
bass,
piano, synth, guitars, wind instruments. For sure. I mean,
he knows how to play everything. That's crazy.
But you're playing better than me.
Maybe.
Yeah.
but yeah. So I mean, I've always since I was 9, I learned how to play the piano, and I fell in love with it. Even before that, when I was 6 years old, I started playing the drums just by myself. Just messing around with it. I just fell in love with music. I love music. I love playing music, and it's just something that's always been like attached with my identity. It's just me. It's just music.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just So I started serving, and then I started serving at church, and there was a point where I just felt like I was instead of serving, I was just performing, and I got so numb to it where I just felt like I was just performing and performing and performing. I was like, you know what, like I feel like I don't really have like that close of a connection with like God, or just that like relationship with God. So there was like a little period of time where I was like, man, like what am I doing, like what's the point of all this, and I started reading my Bible, I started praying more, and I started trying to develop more of that relationship with God, and little by little I was able to find out, what, it's not just about serving, it's not just about, just showing up to church, or just, putting a smile on your face,
Mm-hmm.
It goes deeper than that, it's about, making disciples, and just having that close relationship with God and living by the Spirit every single day. Because those are the 3 steps you really need, to, I feel, live a good Christian life, It's not about being religious. It's not about, just judging other people too. Focus on yourself too, yes, disciple others. Yes, give advice. But yeah, just where are you at with God, Like, that's what I feel like has been like my question. Like, not my question, but that's what I've been like led towards. Like, where am I at with God every single day? Like,
Yeah. Can I ask, what happened? You said it was like a year and a half ago where you first started having your relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that happened, anything that what made you realize, or what made you change your mind? Like, man, like I actually don't have a relationship with God, and I need to. Like,
Yeah.
what switched in your mind, or what happened?
Well, for me, it was just like I feel like I would say I would serve, you know, and then I would serve, and then when I would be finished serving, I would like I was just a bad. I would just be doing stuff that it's not right, you know. So I would have my like serving face on, you know. Okay, I'm gonna serve. Let's go. And then when I was off of that, or just out of church in general, I would just be doing stuff that is not good at all, you know.
Yeah.
So that made me feel like such a hypocrite, you know. I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I? It made me think of like, what am I doing? Like, God gave me this talent, and I'm using it like this, and I'm using it like it's good, you know. But at the same time, it's like I'm not benefiting myself, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not like I'm doing worse, you know. Like so during that moment, I felt like okay, I need to like really focus. Like God, like what do you have for like in store for me? You know what I mean?
So would you say you got tired of religion? Like you got tired and tired of being yourself in a way?
Yeah, I got tired of just showing up just to serve and just to put on a mask, basically. Okay. I got tired of that.
I mean, you still serve to this day, right? Like you still play music, but what's the difference now? Like you're doing the same thing physically, but what's different than from back then and now?
Now it's like I have that relationship with God where I can, when I worship now, it's more of a genuine worship. Like like before I was part of the worship team and I would but I wasn't really worshiping, if that makes sense.
Can you define like?
My worship wasn't in spirit and in truth. I was just there just to play, you know. Like I was just playing, because I like instruments, I like music and stuff. So I was just there to play, but my worship wasn't genuine, and I hated that. Like my worship's not genuine, and I remember once and this was still at the old church that I was going to. Once I sat down just to like worship, like with some of the youth there. And I remember I was just feeling, you know what, I'm just gonna, like, God, like, I just want you to, like, I'm laying down everything right now, you know? I'm laying it all down. I'm just gonna worship in spirit and truth, and I just wanted to be as genuine as I can, you know?
Yeah.
So while I was worshiping, I was just declaring stuff and just, and I just felt the Spirit of God just move, like, so, like, in a way where it's just, like, so, like, crazy. And that's where I felt, you know what, like, I've been doing this wrong this whole time.
Yeah.
You know, like, I need to grow in a relationship with God, you know.
Yeah. And I think that's what majority of young people nowadays don't really have, right? They don't have that relationship with God. It's more like they know how to go to church, they know how to serve, they know how to.
They know how to be a quote unquote
Christian, right? Like you said, they put your serving phase, right?
And there's nothing wrong with serving. There's nothing wrong with and it's not like, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, even if you're serving, you're doing something bad, like you shouldn't be on that stage, or you should. I'm not trying to judge anybody, or but what I'm trying to say is like, it's what does God care about most, What does God care about? Like, do you have a relationship with God where you could just go to Him, go serve, and it's not a burden? It's not like it's just you just do it out of love. You love God, and it's just that pure worship. You know? So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting because I grew up similar to you, not in regards to like a lot of childhood, but when it comes more to like our teenage years.
Yeah.
Like we were both in the worship team.
Exactly.
We both kind of had that. We had to go every weekend, right?
Yeah.
And I also came to that point where it was kind of like, okay, like what's really.
Yeah.
It was really the point. Like, am I really just coming here just to play music? It was more like I got kind of tired of that too in a way. And it's not really like you get tired of God. It's more like you. In your heart within, there's more, right? You aspire for more.
Yeah.
But going back to worship, you said that your worship wasn't genuine. In what you've learned, what's like worship? Is it singing? Is it playing instruments? Is it more your life?
Worship is more like a lifestyle. Like, what are you doing to what are you doing to please God? Because worship is like is something that like we were made to worship. Like we're made for that. It's one of the reasons why we were made. So it's just it's just, I feel like it's more of a lifestyle thing, you know.
Uh-huh.
How are you pleasing God every single day? You know, are you living by the Spirit? You know, are you focused on? Are you hearing what the Spirit has for you and stuff?
Yeah.
So it's like, what is like, what does like it's just like, if you, I feel like worship is, it's just got to be something so genuine, you know, and it's got to be something where it's just a lifestyle, man, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it comes to the point where everything you do is worship, right?
Yeah.
Whether you go to work, you could make it in a way where you're working to honor God, so that's bringing worship to Him, right?
Yeah.
If even when you eat, the small things, right? I think Paul says like everything you do, whether you eat or sleep, all that, do it for the glory of God.
Yeah.
Then Romans says, Paul in the book of Romans, I think there's a verse where it says, present your body as a living sacrifice. This is your act of worship.
Yeah.
So I think, like you said, like our life surrendering to God is what brings worship to Him.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just playing music,
Exactly.
which is a way of worshiping God, right?
Exactly.
Through singing
Yeah.
and praising.
Exactly.
But in its essence, music is not worship. It's
Yeah.
more like our lives.
It's a tool, right, that
Uh-huh.
you can use, but it's not the like only thing.
Yeah, it's not the only thing. So now that you've transitioned, say from a year and a half ago to today, you've transitioned to like actually having a relationship with God. What's one of the key things that you've learned when it comes to building a relationship with God? What's one of the main things you've learned from that?
One of the main things I've learned is just to I guess it's just to listen to the Spirit. Like, what does the Spirit have for you?
Mm-hmm.
So before, I mean, I wouldn't really do that, you know, because I just never like listened, you know. I just did what I wanted to do, you know.
Uh-huh.
But now it's more like what like before I do something or before I act, I try to listen. Like, God, what do you have for me? Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? You know. And obviously, I'm reading the Bible more and I'm praying more, but I feel like the thing that I've learned the most is just trying to put God in every single thing that I do. You know? If I'm gonna start a business, God, do you want me to do this? You know. If I'm gonna just simple stuff, like if I want to get a new car, God, do you want me to get this new car? If I want to buy something, like it's just simple stuff, but it's not like in a religious manner. You know, you're not like, oh, God said those. So
like you have to ask God, or else you're in wrong.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. It's just like in the little stuff like that. Like I feel like I've been able to learn how to just put God in like little stuff that I just wouldn't before, you know, and not just pray and pray for other things too. Because before I used to just pray for myself, you know. Pray for myself. Like, God bless me with this. God bless me with that. But now it's like it's kind of shifted a little bit, and I try to pray for other people, or just for other things, or just things that are going on in the world now. Like, God, like help this, or just, you know, like moving this. Like it's different now. So.
Your perspective has changed, right? Instead of just like me to more like, okay, Lord, here I am.
Yeah.
How do you want me to serve you?
Exactly.
How can I benefit the world, benefit the people around me, my family? That's interesting because, at least for me, something that I've learned recently is that my relationship with God has changed. Like, it's the fountain where it comes from. You know, my relationship with God was born more out of responsibility, more out of fear, having to do something, right? More through the lenses of religion. But I feel like now, like through growing up and stuff, I've learned that your relationship with God has to do more with your heart, right? It has to do more with like now, for example, let's say sin. Back then, I would see sin like, okay, like I can't sin because if I sin, God's gonna punish me. God's going to be mad at me. Like if I sin, like this, it was always more like I had to do it because God's my master and I have to do it, right? Exactly. It was more out of fear. But now I see sin, and I'm like, now I don't do sin because I have a relationship with God, and now I want to honor Him. Exactly. Now I want to do it not out of a place of fear, but out of a place of love. And I think that could only be achieved when you have that relationship with God. Right? You know, some people say like, oh, like God forgives, God is love, so I could do whatever I want. I feel like the people that say that don't really have that intimate relationship with God. Because if you were to have that relationship, then everything else is born out of love. Like now I want to honor God.
Exactly.
Now I want, Bible says we're temple of the Holy Spirit. Now I want to like honor Him with my body, with my life, with my time. And I think, like you said, a year and a half ago when that changed for you, I think that's where the beginning of that worship starts, because that's when it's built from a relationship with Him.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like we were always taught that, like it was like we're always kind of scared. It wasn't like obeying God like out of love. It was kind of like a scaredness, like oh God's gonna he's gonna throw a thunderbolt at you, throw a stick at you, So I feel like that's how I used to kind of think like that too, but it's kind of changed. Like we obey God because we love Him. It's not because we're scared, It's not because we're like like God hates us. Like we're just So that's how I've kind of changed my perspective on it, Yeah, man, because it's crazy. It's crazy how like it can make you fearful, It can make you fearful, like God's gonna like I'm like scared of God, and then it makes everything like very like. I remember my sister saying once like, "What's the point of even going to church and stuff? Like we're never gonna be perfect, We're just like never gonna be perfect." And I remember my mom was like, no, because it's it's church, it's church. And my mom's like opinion, like the way she thinks has shifted as well. But I remember she was saying like, yeah, because it's church, like we have to go, it's for God and stuff, But now we think about it, it's like because we are sinners, because we are never gonna be perfect. That's why we go to church, That's what we go to learn, The truth is, we're never gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
We're all sinners,
Yeah.
We're born that way.
Yeah, I think we're born with sin, but I think now in Christ we've transitioned from sinners to righteous.
Exactly.
Not because we're righteous, right?
Yeah.
But because now we're covered with the blood of Jesus.
Exactly.
Do we sin? Yes, we do, right?
Yeah.
We still sin every day. But now God has changed us from sinners to righteous because of Him.
Yeah.
We don't deserve it. Yeah. But I feel like what you said is very important and key to, especially not only to all the Christians, but especially the youth, where they feel like they have to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
And God, it'll be kind of, God knows we're not perfect.
Yeah.
And God knows, obviously, we should strive to be like the best we can.
Yeah.
But God knows we're never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
That's why He has grace. That's why He has forgiveness, right?
Exactly.
And I think it's a very powerful story. I think a lot of people have thought that throughout their life, especially if you grew up at church. I think it's different because when someone comes to Christ once they're older, like they kind of have a different view. But when you're born in church and born in that culture, and if it's not like in a healthy way, sometimes you're born with those thoughts.
Exactly.
You have those thoughts a lot. Like I'm not perfect. Like what's the point? I'm just gonna give up. Like I already sinned one time. Like what's the difference? Like I keep doing it. Like God already sees me as a sinner. God's already disappointed in me. Why try to be good if I'm just gonna fail again?
Yeah.
Right. And those thoughts, a lot of people have them.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's crazy. You'd be surprised. Like, there's so many people that I know that grew up in church, and it's like you would think that just because they grew up in church, they're gonna be like Christians, like or they're going to, live like I guess keep living like a godly life, or But sometimes they're the ones that are like go like the opposite way, like.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Well, it's not that I don't know. It's just I feel like the way they were raised. It's just. I feel like, well, not only that, but I feel like people that are born Christian are attacked by the enemy more, if that makes any more sense.
Okay.
Like, there's just more attacks that come into the life of somebody that's born in that environment, in that Christian environment, just because I feel like it's just a way that the devil wants to, it kind of wants to make an example out of them.
Yeah.
Like, this person was raised this way, but look how he is now. And just wants to show.
And blame Christianity for
it.
Right?
Christianity for it. Yeah. I mean, that's my opinion on it. Yeah. I might be right.
Yeah.
But, what do you think?
I don't know. Because going back to the first point, like, I have noticed, like, a lot of people that were born and were raised at church.
Yeah.
For some reason. It's in general, right? It's not every single person.
Yeah.
It's just, I've seen it. At least in what I've seen, the people I've known, like when they leave church, sometimes they end up being like, I don't want to say worse, but they end up living a life that's kind of, even the people that were never Christianity say like, what the heck, like, whoa, like this guy. Yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, why do we see this trend when young people leave church? Like, there's that, and I kind of like I'll give you my opinion right now, Paul.
I feel like it's just I feel like it might be because they've been hurt by church, or they.
Mhm.
But I think it's just. I feel like a lot of it has to do with that, where they just kind of like hate church, or they've just been hurt by it, where they just want to be like, you know what, like I just want to go all out on the other side, you know, like
it's kind of like when you tell a kid so much like no,
Yeah.
and the more you say no and no and try to control him, the more he wants to do it.
yeah,
So it's kind of like a lot of these young people. Like obviously there's limits, and I think as Christian parents, all that you have to like protect your children, but there comes a point where it's kind of in a healthy way.
Yeah.
That they're when they have the time, they just pop.
Yeah.
Like you said, like they're angry with the church. So a lot of the time, I was talking to Naomi about it. I mean, I've never thought about this, and she said it, and I was like mind blown. I was like, "What the heck?" Like I've never thought about that. She was like, "A lot of the times, it's not that they really enjoy that lifestyle or sin, or they just like, oh my god, like I love like doing all of this. I like getting drunk. I got drunk. I like doing all this kind of stuff."
Yeah.
It's not really that. It's because they have this bitterness and anger towards certain leadership or their parents or the church in general that they enjoy, but they do it more out of to get back at them.
Yeah.
Hey, like I was withheld so long. I was hurt when I was younger at church.
Exactly.
So now out of bitterness, like I'm just gonna do it, you know. And it's something that I've never really thought about, and I think it applies to a lot of young people nowadays.
Yeah, I feel that, and I feel like not only that, but a lot of people from like just growing up in church, I feel like they were taught to just follow rules,
Mm-hmm.
and they were really never like they never had that relationship with God, you know, like or that it was just more like rules,
Mm-hmm.
and never that like love for God, or you know that like or that even that feeling that God loves you, you know, it's like it's always just you got to follow this rule, follow that rule,
you gotta
earn it,
right?
you know, you know, and if you mess up in this little way, then boom, you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
so they just they're raised like that, and they're like I just need to get out of this, I just want to leave, you know,
very tight.
And then they turn 18 and they're just like boom, I'm out of here, like, let's go, and then then the backlash, they just keep going, like, you know. So I mean it's something that's very sad, honestly. I think it's very sad, and it's something we like. I feel like I mean I personally got to pray for you know, for them too, and it's just crazy because it's you would think that there would be the people or just but this is general. This is not once, but this is general. Like you would think that just people that were born in church, you know, raised in a Christian home, would be the ones that are strongest. But it's sometimes most of the time I feel like it's the opposite.
They hold the strongest like bitterness against the church.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder, like, do we have Christianity wrong, right? Like, I had to look at myself and just speaking about me, right?
Yeah.
Like, man, am I really seeing Christianity as Jesus taught it when he was here, right?
Yeah.
Or have I formed my own type of religion?
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, to this day, I laugh about it sometimes. There's thoughts that I have, and this is scary. I have thoughts I have that I think are biblical, or verses that I think are in the Bible, and I'm like so sure they're in the Bible, and then just to realize, like, man, like, they're not in the Bible. Right? I don't know if I told you, but I was hearing some preaching, right?
Yeah.
And the pastor, which I was hearing, mentioned something, and I was like, oh yeah, for sure, that's in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my brother was like, show me the verse that says that.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course, it's right here in the Bible, right? And I opened it to the part where I knew it was going to be, and it wasn't there.
Really?
And I got so scared. Not because the Bible wasn't there, because I got scared. I'm like, what the heck? Like, how many things are in my head that I think are biblical but aren't? It's kind of weird.
Brainwashed a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of got scared, and I went home and I even looked for it at home, and I tried to look, and I was just like, what the heck? It's not there.
Yeah.
It made me kind of scared because I was like, I gotta reread the Bible.
Yeah.
And I gotta make sure that what I know is unfiltered. It's not like in a way different, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of scared me. Like how much stuff that I've been taught, like how much is biblical, right?
Yeah.
How much has been kind of like it's something that's been added.
Yeah.
that kind of seems like it's true, and it kind of sounds like the Bible, but it's maybe just a little bit, and it's just with that little bit, it throws it off. It throws it all off. What did Jesus say? Un poco, in Spanish, un poco de levadura.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Yeah. Like a little bit of that, it messes up the whole bread, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's important for us as Christians to just go to the Bible.
And not only just, I feel like even like before when I would like listen to preachers and stuff, like it's more like we rely so much on the pastor or the one who's giving the message. This is in general. This is not, we rely so much on the person who's giving the message that we don't even do our own research, our own our own due diligence on it. We just rely solely. Okay, this person has all the answers, right? When in reality, they most of the time they don't.
I mean, we're all humans, right?
Yeah, we're all humans, and it's not a way to like, and it's just the reality, So it's not bad to question things. It's not. I mean, I've always thought it's not bad. And if somebody says like, oh, you're just questioning the Bible, you're questioning the word of God.
You're a rebel.
Yeah, you're a rebel because you question that.
Yeah.
No, come on now.
I think you have to have
you have to do it. Yeah. Like you're responsible for it too.
At the end of the day, you are responsible.
Yeah.
Like it's the best way to look at it. Like it's my responsibility to make sure that what I believe in is actually biblical.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like you said. It's sometimes we do have to do our own due diligence. And I think I mean, growing up, I fully trusted. Right. Like.
Yeah.
And it's good. I mean, obviously you have to trust. Right. If you're at a place where you don't trust like the leadership, the pastor there, then why are you there?
Yeah.
If you disagree with so much or you don't, why are you there, right?
Yeah.
You have to be at a place where you obviously trust and you like respect your leader.
Yeah.
But still, you have to do your own.
And even then, I feel like if you disagree, like I don't think it's bad to disagree with something,
Yeah.
As long as you have something to back it up as well, like you know what you're talking about,
I think we need more debate.
Yeah,
for sure.
Debate for sure. Because without like debate, we're all just like listening and
just believing.
Yeah, believing it. Yeah.
I think you made a good point. It's okay to disagree. And it's not bad. It's not bad to disagree.
Yeah.
Because if we never confront those disagreements and really speak it out, then we're never really gonna learn and grow.
Yeah.
And I think church should be a place where I could be honest and be like, I don't believe what you say. I don't think it's true. And I think it should be a place where we're able to discuss it. Like, all right, why don't you believe it?
Yeah.
I believe it because I see this in the Bible. Why do you disagree?
And not only that, but I feel like I've noticed like even when I like discuss certain things or debate certain things, like my growth just grows too. You know what I mean? Like I start growing like just in the Bible too. Like my knowledge starts growing because I'm learning more things. I'm doing more research on more things. Like it's just. I feel like I personally start growing. Like there's a benefit to it too, and it's not just because and it's not to get mad at other people. You don't disagree with this, or you don't.
It's not to feel like you're superior to anyone either.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think I feel the same. Every time I have debates, I think it's a win. Win-win.
Yeah.
Whatever. If I'm wrong or if I'm right, it's a win for me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm debating someone and they're challenging my mind, challenging me in my knowledge and all that, if I'm wrong, then at least I learned and realized I'm wrong. Okay, man, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And now it's a benefit. Now I learned and I corrected myself. But if I'm right, then it makes my belief even stronger.
Exactly.
Okay, like you brought these questions. Okay, these questions make sense. They're making me doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I think about those questions and digest them, and then I'm still firm in what I believe in, you just made me stronger in my belief.
Exactly.
If it's biblical, right?
I completely agree.
But if it's challenging me, and then I look in and I realize I was wrong, and that's why I think we live in a culture nowadays that they're trying to take away debate. Like, don't question anything.
Exactly.
In general.
Cancel culture?
Yeah, cancel culture, everything. Like, if you disagree with someone, then you're automatically labeled. You're bad, right? You're this and that.
Cancel culture at the church?
Right. They're cancel culture with Jesus and the Pharisees. They're cancel Jesus, right?
Yeah.
But I think if you're the first to have social media, like,
imagine
cancel this person. But the point is, like, people are growing up nowadays, like, not knowing how to debate, not knowing how to question, and not having an environment where they're able to do that. It's more like you question. If you think differently than the majority, then you're wrong. Like, I'm not gonna allow you to even debate it. Like, you have to believe this way because everyone believes that is this way. And I think we have to bring it back because the disciples of Jesus were always questioning Jesus.
Like, why this?
Like, why this? Why that? What does this parable mean? Like, why this? Like, and even Jesus had to like correct them. Yeah. Peter, right? Like, he wanted to make his own way with Jesus. He's like, no, like, I'm gonna cut his ear. Right? Yeah. I think this is the right way.
He thought he knew better.
He thought he knew better, right? Or like who was it? The two brothers? Is it James and John?
Yeah.
They were like,
Sons of Thunder?
Yeah, they're like the Sons of Thunder, right? Yeah. They were like, oh man, these Samaritans are making fun of Jesus. Yeah. Send lightning, kill them, so they could learn to respect God. Yeah. Right? And God was like, what the heck? Like, that's not the way to do it, right? Yeah. And I think there was always that tension, that debate. Yeah. But I think it's through that where we get to learn and grow. Yeah. Like, and I think it's needed nowadays. I think in general, not only in Christianity, but just in general.
And not only that, but I feel like much more information is given to us now. Like we can look up so many things now and do our research and like really do our like when we have Google, we have everything. You know, like we really have no excuse. You know, if we're like if we're lacking in knowledge in certain things, you know, it's just we have so many tools that we can use, you know, right now. And I've always kind of had that like idea, like, you know, if I don't understand something, I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna see like what, and I'm also gonna pray about it, like, God, what do you think this means? Like, God, like, what are you trying to show me in this, you know, with this, you know? So yeah, man, it's a good thing. It's a good thing
for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Caleb,
of course,
for this talk. That was very interesting.
Yeah.
And we'll do more soon.
Sounds good.
All right.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Cut.
Go.